Let's go back to our Peter Cook on Capitol Hill. He is with the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee that grilled Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke today. Peter, good afternoon.
Thanks very much, Mark. I am here with Congressman Darrell Issa of California, the ranking Republican on the Oversight Committee. Congressman, thank you for the time. Appreciate it. And you had some pretty strong statements coming into this about the possibility of a Fed cover-up here. Having heard the Fed chairman today, has your view changed at all?
Well, it's clear the Fed chairman does not think he was part of a cover-up. He also doesn't define some of the statements that we've seen in writing as meaning quite what they appear to say. Obviously, as we get former Secretary Paulson, we'll get the other side of a man who has said before Attorney General Cuomo that in fact he did deliver a threat, and he delivered it based on the Fed chairman.
The Fed chairman today adamantly said, I never made that threat against Ken Lewis or the bank board. It was never part of the discussion. Do you not take the Fed chairman at his word?
Well, the Fed chairman stopped short of saying it was never part of the discussion, and he did nuance a couple of times with either not remembering something or saying it was part of a larger discussion. And although he had talked to Mr. Lacker, he sort of said, well, I've talked to him, but he hasn't changed his story, but we may disagree on his synopsis of a longer discussion. We've tried to make sure all along that when we talk cover-up or failure to disclose, it's about when they didn't inform or deliberately tried to not have events that would trigger SEC or OCC actions, and that the actual threat that's being talked about is only part of the story. Our biggest concern, Chairman Towns and myself, is did the federal government employ all of the regulatory agencies fully so that they were fully informed, or did they choose to run the show and only tell certain agencies at certain times? The latter appears to be correct. The chairman was unapologetic for having kept them informed at some times and perhaps out of the loop at others.
Specifically the SEC and FDIC, you're going to have them at future hearings. In addition, you're going to have former Treasury Secretary Paulson.
Absolutely. We expect in about 2 weeks to have Secretary Paulson and then FDIC and SEC. We fully expect it'll be probably in the same time frame, perhaps 2 panels. Chairman Towns made it very clear at the end that we were more interested in pursuing this at the end of today's hearing than the beginning, because it is so important that if we do reform that includes additional powers for the Fed, that we have transparency that today we don't appear to have.
The Fed chairman, based on the testimony you heard today, what you know of this story, and the larger questions, what is your level of confidence in Ben Bernanke based on what you heard today?
You know, Ben Bernanke needs to be judged based on the historic standards of the Fed, the money supply and those activities, and I think he will be judged fairly. When it comes to actually ramming through deals, I don't think you look at Bernanke alone. You're looking at Hank Paulson, an experienced Goldman Sachs guy, and you're looking at all of the people that were at the table for these deals, good or bad. On balance, I'm sure they'll get a C or better. But remember, this is a grade in a situation in which they did not have the choice to study ahead, read a textbook of how it was done. They were writing the rules as they went along. And we're not here to say, you shouldn't have done it. We're saying, what are the lessons learned? How do we do it right the next time? How can the American people ensure that they never again see stockholders, perhaps like in the case of Chrysler, put behind the interest of other entities?
The Fed chairman said today he had no regrets today. Should he reconsider that?
Well, he actually did say that he wants to exit this as soon as possible, and that these circumstances were regrettable. So I think he talked on both sides of that. You know, I don't think anyone has regrets when the market is improving and you knew you had to engage, even if you made mistakes.
All right, Congressman Darrell Issa, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. The story will continue to follow from here on the Hill. Vera, we'll send it back to you in New York.
Great, thank you.